Everybody that you guys have had some kind of religious prophecy to, and then you establish cults that you call religions, has given you pretty much the same, what Krishnamurti was talking about, what Suzuki was talking about, what Sun Yat-sen was talking about in China in the early 1900s was very similar. That's why China did so well for a long time as far as being less destructive and less mechanized. Everybody thought they were archaic and behind. And then Hong Kong, when they gave back Hong Kong, it became Beijing. It was meant to infiltrate China and then change China. It was meant to defeat China from within when they gave back Hong Kong. Because they thought that was wrong, and they thought, they're broken. The egomaniacs always think, that Tron bullshit. When you watch that movie, it's like, oh, that's not fixable. Oh God, damn. A disease is a disease, and you can't believe in people that are a disease. Do you understand? When you become the disease of narcissism, of selfishness, of trapping the glory in the soul of the mind, you can't believe in people like that. You can believe in Muhammad and Jesus. They're the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. G.T. Suzuki, does it pay to be good? No. Money's not real. It's good to be good. Jiddu Krishnamurti, you as, this present civilization, it cannot last. It's built on, And so, that's all the Messiah is going to give you. Granted, it's a lot of really impressive stuff. Haile Selassie's resume was very impressive, but there's a lot of things people didn't see, but there's legends about him on certain things. With me, that didn't happen, I didn't think it happened. I knew I was running that fast at Mayfield when Leo timed me and was trying to talk me, but I knew he was serious about my speed. Because he had seen it. He had Andre Francis and other guys that played in the CFL on his football team. They were very, very fast people, fast human beings, right? And Leo was like, you really need to think about playing football. Okay, why did you ease up? Why did you jog the last portion of it? You should have kicked his ass. He's an asshole. Brian could be an asshole, yeah. Well, he was Wolverines, he's one of those type that, and, we white people, when there's going to be when there's going to be the helter-skelter war against you, they're going to be all scared of us because you got all the guns. And all, okay, just stand up for the Lord's Prayer. He's not that type of person. He's not if there is a Jesus, he's the head of the gun club, right? I loved Brian Skibby. Of course I loved him. But I used to always, Brian, you need to tone it down. You need to, I always tried to, because he always talked. Because me and David Morgan were friends. He says, that's beach muscle. I was like, I don't know about David Morgan having beach muscle. That's muscle. If he push-ups, sit-ups are this natural. You don't just get natural muscles like David Morgan had by doing nothing. David had muscle. And I remember Skibiak said, David's got muscle. And Skibs acts like that's beach muscle. I was like, no. Okay. Guys on the beach, that was... Frank Zane, Robbie Robinson, Boyer Coe. Yeah, no, they did lots of things to get the muscle. You can't just keep muscle by doing a lot of nothing and then call it beach muscle and all that stuff. No, Well, the funny thing is people think that maximizing and pushing yourself makes you stronger, which is the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite. The more you do things intelligently and in a healthy manner, the better. You can show, like Dr. Franco Colombo, that you can do that. It's like, yeah, you can do that, but do you need to? If you don't need to do it, don't do it. If you need to, there it is. And, so just be healthy, like Suzuki talked about, and stuff, and, dig your ditch, do it, but do things right. That's one of the things I like about Joe Reeder was he studied everything and he looked at things, doing things properly, but he also got that from Aikido, Tai Chi, different forms of exercise. People have been doing that stuff for years. You sit there and you look at how to do things properly without hurting your spinal column, so and how you're supposed to lift with your legs, your knees, and stuff like that. So how the body was meant to do things. But when you strengthen your butt and your core, and you got all that muscle. That's why you have all this muscle here. You have the stomach muscles, the abs, and the back and the lats and stuff. That's meant to help, protect the nervous system. There's a telegraph line. You got yours and I got mine. It's called the nervous system. And the nervous system goes through, and then these muscles around that, are really good. That's why you're supposed to keep them healthy. And if you want your back not to hurt, you got to make sure you put in core work to make sure that your stomach muscles are healthy. Your and stuff. And they don't have to be six pack or anything like that. They just have to be healthy. You just got to be healthy. Like that, I told you back in 2017, I had the little V thing that I always thought I'd never got because I never worked that consistently where I had that much muscle mass. When I was younger, I didn't have a lot of muscle mass. I could just do things just naturally. I was just a very fast, athletic, agile, amazing human being. I didn't think I was because I didn't. I always underachieve because they're mean to you and they try to abuse you. Like what happened with the kid with the dunking and at Marshall Elementary School in Tucson, and they all come and they want to challenge you, and then they get mad if you're better than them, and you're like, fuck, okay, I'm just let the Wookiee win. But then you get to that point, no, I got to do this because I want to pay my bills. I wanted to get paid to get laid, and stuff. So I wanted to get, that, but that was then, and this is the 21st century. And, all this time, these people, why weren't you being like, because I was being studied to see if I came by it naturally, which I did. Okay. Spencer J. Kimball during Easter weekend before my first birthday. I sat and listened to him and said, no, he's wrong. Okay. I wasn't even 4 years old yet and could explain to him the linguistic errors just by watching TV and, no teachers, no Jiddu Krishnamurti, no old man, how is it you see that? Young man, how is it you do not? You may go home now. I didn't have any of that shit. I just had a bunch of self-righteous, arrogant, egotistical hypocrites watching me through surveillance equipment in my house. Yeah. And then had to go, Jesus, help, And when we joined Eckankar, it was really nice. Well, I did watch some of the Bruce Lee stuff with I did. One of my favorite shows when I was a kid was Kung Fu, because I really liked Kai Cheng Kane. I liked the way that he used his ability to protect people, to be kind. He wasn't, because Jesus told me that when I was 5, before I started watching Kung Fu, because I don't think Kung Fu came on until, I don't remember when it came on, but, Jesus told me that. I said, oh, but Jesus, because I think it was like 7 Samurai and stuff I saw on TV and other things. I was like, that's horrible, right? And Jesus said, don't worry about that, Earl. You could be, 5 years old. You could walk up to the biggest guy in all the world, sweep, find a way to sweep his leg, bam, stand over him, shove his nose to the back of his head. Okay. What if some people have the energy to resist that, but not all people are you? Oh, 1-inch punch, huh? Yeah. No, I've never tried it, never wanted to. Never, remember when I talked to Bruce Lee? So was that wall ever done to you except keep the rain off you and Zeke and keep the bugs out? You're right. Thanks, Bruce. Love you too. So it's pretty cool. I have real cool prayer communications. They're very mature, they're very intelligent, and they're very beautiful. And, I've had conversations with people in my head, and they're like, no, you're not talking to me because the person you're talking to is better than me. Life's eternal and grace is infinite, you crazy monkey. I was trying to explain that to Jennifer Lopez. That would be really cool if I could get her to understand that. That would be so cool. If I could get Jennifer Lopez to understand life's eternal and grace is infinite, and that the person that I talk to is her. Okay. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Hey, Kingdom of Heaven, there it is. Okay. Think she got it? I hope so. That would be really cool. I like her kids a lot. I really do. When I was listening to Mark out there on the patio, all I could think of was Emmy and Max, Which makes sense, because, that song came out not long before, or was it before or after their birth? I can't remember, but it reminds me of those two kids. So, yeah, I like that song. It's one of my favorites. I like Mark's voice. He's a really good singer. And so but it's really good. I like the music, and I like the ensemble. He's a real good singer. He's very good. Yeah, that's right. I do got to go get some songs in Spanish from him, because I had that CD I checked out from the library, but it was so scratched up you couldn't record any of them. And I liked him. I was like, wow, I like this. I like Eddie Santiago, but I really like Mark. And he's good. He's got a good voice. I just hadn't thought about it. I get busy. My brain. It's always, I work all the time. I don't rest until we're living the Lord's Prayer worldwide. So I'm exhausted. They've been attacking me my whole life. They were ready to attack me, to test me, to see if I was for real before I was born. Most of you don't have that luxury. Just kidding around. Wow, they don't have that privilege. Yep, pressures of privilege. Oh, fuck you. Seriously, pressures of privilege, huh? Tell that to a baby that is starving to death because we're all under pressure. Because love dares you to reach out under pressure. No man has more. He's full of shit. Okay. They're both full of shit now. Freddie and David, they have no idea what pressure's like. Hey, look, it's the Quorum of the 12 in the Vatican in your bedroom before you're born, kid. They're trying to see if you're for real. No man has more. Under pressure. Yeah, no man has more. It's hard to get people to conceptualize, what it's like. But there's overwhelming evidence in my life. I don't give a shit about the Kevin Hart. If Shaq was there. If Shaq was there and if he stood up for the Lord's Prayer, I'd be deeply impressed. Maybe Kevin will get up and do it. That would be cool. You sit there and turn around at LeBron and Shaq and go, stood up for the Lord's Prayer first. Funny. The Golden Jet beat you both to it. That'd be funny. Kicked you in the rear dick. That's funny. It is funny. Think it's tangible? Oh, yeah. When it comes to truth and love, all things are tangible. When it comes to lie, all things that need to be done are on hold. I love babies way too much to deny them the Lord's Prayer. Well, I'm gorgeous. I love women. I love your brother, Marvin Gaye. Don't talk about my father, love your mother, your father. So, yeah. I don't care what egomaniacs, and most people don't believe in Jesus. They have crosses on their thing and then go out and fight for Caesar's money. They believe in Caesar. That cross on their cheek and their helmet and all that, that's Caesar. Jesus is forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace, and have faith in the glory of God. They don't believe in Jesus. They believe in a cartoon character that's themselves that they've made up into someone they call Jesus. But he's not the Spirit of Yahweh. Okay, guys, I love you. We'll talk later. Bye.